Okay, what's up everybody? Thought I'd give you guys a review of the Rogue Wingspan rack. Kind of got a big shop out here. So live on a got a family compound, family farm kind of thing going, where I live in a house, and not too far away my brother and his wife and kids live in a house, and my parents live not far from there. So we've all got houses here, and we've all got this communal shop. It's got office space and high ceilings and stuff, and so we all work out quite a bit and go to the gym a lot. So we thought, why not save some time and not have to drive into town to go to the gym, because it's a 10-15 minute drive to get to the gym. So allow us to just walk down to the shop and work out. And since there's so many of us that work out in the family, we thought, well, we need something that's going to allow us to do more than one or two people at once. So I saw that monster, the Wingspan rack by Rogue, and I thought, well, that looks like a pretty good idea. Can do a kind of a squat station, leg station, then a chest kind of station, and kind of a back pull-up station. So we've got quite a bit of room. We've got some cardio stuff in here, which I don't know how long this will be. We're kind of taking up a lot of room in the shop, so we might, I don't know what we'll do, but dip machine, pull up kind of machine right there. But I wanted to show you guys primarily the Rogue Wingspan. If you hear that noise, it's the heater going in here. It's cold out. Got the shop heated at least. In the summer we can open the garage doors. But the thing about the Wingspan, man, it's a lot bigger than you realize. You know, it's huge. You got 8 4x8 sheets of plywood down there, 12 4x6 piece of floor mat, and so it's eating up a lot of space. Heavy, beefy. It's pretty much everything you want. Couple things that we ran into, had to worry about. Originally I had it flipped, so this kind of straight long side was actually over there next to the wall, but we realized when it was over here where this bench is, so everything was flipped, there wasn't enough real room to slide the weights onto the bar when we had the chest press station right here. So you were trying to get the bar was sticking out so close to the wall, you didn't have a whole lot of room to slide the weights on and off, and it's just kind of annoying. And it was probably a little more difficult for the girls to do, just with the heavier weights, and understandably they're smaller and a little bit harder. And so we went this route and switched it all around, so that we could not have to worry, and the ends of the bar can hang out on the left and the right here, and it's not a big deal. But by doing that, we had to compromise this pull down, because originally I was going to have it hanging off essentially the side. What you're seeing is it's coming inward. Well, I wanted it to originally go that way, but realizing that, flipping it, so I actually was going to go this way, I guess, because it was originally the longer part was on this left side, and we were going to hang it out this way, and that would have been fine because we'd have had room, could have used that little walkway when we're doing like the seated rows. But when we moved it, that this pull down machine will fit in this space if we wanted to go that way with it, but you wouldn't have enough room to really sit on the ground right there and push your legs back and do some seated rows. So we decided to bring it inward like this, and it worked fine. It's not a big deal, but this is how much room is in this rack. I mean, we've got inside the rack, you have a pull down machine, and that's a big pull down machine, and it's eating up just that space. So it's massive. Very stout, very sturdy. I think anyone can expect that stuff from Rogue. In terms of quality, no complaints there. It hasn't really let us down at all. We've used it several times now. What critiques would I have for Rogue? Not many. That maybe. So I'll give you a couple. These are nitpicky things, and I don't want to come across as this is something bad about Rogue. The things I'm gonna nitpick on are so nitty gritty. It's not an issue. You're still getting a 99% perfect setup, but I saw a couple little things, so I'll tell you about them. Now, at the tops of the racks, you got these cutouts where you gotta be able to access the bolts to tie in to tie everything together. So I would say one of the critiques is this cutout would actually be handy if it was on top and not the bottom, and then you could run those holes the whole way, and you're actually not seeing the cutout on the bottom. You'd see it. You would access it from the top. And while that may be, they probably do it that way because there's not a lot of people that have ceiling space like this. And if you're running a 9-foot ceiling or something, it's going to be tight and you're not going to be able to fit a wrench in there. So I get why they do it that way, but if we got the ceiling space, it would actually be cooler if that notch, that cutout, was on the top and not the bottom. Then we wouldn't have to see it. Then we could hang, we got like TRX bands, we could connect it closer to the post or whatever. That is a very minor nitpick, but you could say it is one. Another thing is they do ship 2 different size bolts. So you get a 5-inch bolt when you're connecting for pieces like this, where you're connecting three pieces together. So 1, the middle post would be 2, this outer post would be 3. So this bolt right here is a 5-inch bolt. But when you're connecting just 2 pieces together, so like these, you got the post is 1, this crossbar is 2. That's 4 3/4 inch bolt. So you got 5-inch bolt, so a 1/4 inch different, and they're decided to make the distinguish between the two and send you all these different sizes. In my opinion, it would have made the build process a whole lot easier just to have a bunch of 5-inch bolts. Like if I have an extra 1/4 inch of bolt sticking out right there where these 4 3/4 inch ones were, it's not really a big deal. It would have just made things a lot easier. It'd probably make replacing parts or it would have made installation a little easier than trying to keep track of which bolt size was which. So that's one small critique, that probably just ship out 5-inch bolts for everything, Rogue. I mean, it just makes things easier. Another small thing, so I guess they sent everything really well. We thought that they lost our J-hooks because we ordered the nice, these nice J-hooks right here. Bruce, he works out too. These nice J-hooks, and they didn't come in the original shipment, and I was really worried I was going to have to try to dispute it with them and all this stuff. And I emailed them, and they came back and said, "Nope, we know. They're coming out in another shipment. Don't worry about it. They'll be there in a couple days." And so that was awesome. They were on top of it. I just didn't know there was a second shipment. So the only other major nitpick I have is we did buy this cool pull-up bar thing. But for some reason in the pull-up bar, so the Rogue bars have 1-inch holes, but the pull-up bar, you see, has 5-inch holes. And they actually didn't send 5-inch bolts for this. They sent 1-inch bolts. So I had to go out and buy my own bolts for this pull-up bar. I don't know why the holes on this pull-up bar are 5-inch when everything on a Rogue rack is 1-inch. It makes no sense. These holes that they drill right here, those should be the same size as those. Then you can slide a 1-inch bolt in there and everything, it all makes sense. Why they went with a different hole size there, I don't know. And it just didn't make sense to me, and they didn't ship that size bolt. So these bolts I had to go buy from Lowe's, go buy the lock washers and do all that myself. Not a big deal. It's $20 for the washers and everything, but that is I feel like a small oversight, but in the scheme of things, it's such a tiny thing. It is what it is. The Rogue, this pull down machine, we've still got to calibrate. It's very hard to pull, and I think we've realized it's because it's just not calibrated. So when you pull, like I can let go of the bar right now, there's no one holding it, and it's stuck there. And it's because it's rubbing against the weights right here. So if I were to push this, see how it's got wiggle, and it needs to be in the center. And if I were to keep pulling and go ahead and get this above, it glides a lot smoother. But once this bar's in the rack, it clicks. And if you ever work down in the gym long enough, you've probably been in a situation where one of these wasn't calibrated right, and this will come down and it'll actually crash so hard outside of the weight that it'll just get stuck, and you got to kind of smack it to get it back down in there. So I've got to figure out how to calibrate this so that it's more centered, and it will actually cause this to glide a lot smoother, because once this is out of that hole, man, it glides real smooth. But once it's in, there's a lot of resistance, extra resistance there. So we gotta fix that. Hopefully not a big deal. It's nice that they put these on there. You can push things down. A lot of pull-down machines don't have something like that. Other than that, it's all pretty good in the hood. We, a couple of little things that they could do. What was it? Let me think. There was something I realized. I think that's kind of funny. Oh, yeah. We got the landmine. So there's a landmine. That's such a cool attachment to be able to do the rows. And so we have the adapter, the little bar you use somewhere. Where'd my brother put it? You guys see it? It's not over here. Oh, there it is. So this bar right here. So you slide, you put your barbell in your landmine, and it sticks out, and then you slide that handle over to be able to do some kind of bent over, rows kind of things with the barbell. Well, it would be really neat if there was a way for us to be able to use this bad boy on that. A hole or something where you can slide the barbell through, or an attachment where we can slide the barbell through and be able to attach this guy to the landmine attachment. Then you can go with some wide grip rows, not such narrow grip. It would just be kind of neat to be able to have that option. So kind of realize that would be good to have, and it would be good to have on this landmine row thing to be able to attach it to a carabiner. So to have some, little loop coming off here on the bottom where it could attach to a carabiner, and then you got some more narrow grip rows that you can do. That would be nice, be handy. There's a Lego guy just laying here. Kids were down here. I really like these safety straps. It's much better than having the bars. These things slide up and down real easy. I say that, watch me not be able to do it easy. So you just kind of push in, and that little knobby guy pops out, and you can move him up and down, and then you just pop it back in. So it works really well. What I like is that we got all this storage. I was hoping to be able to use these rollers to lay my leg over it, and then attach a band, the other way over here to maybe to that side, and be able to do, with my leg laid over, be able to do some leg extensions, whop, and use the resistance across with a band. Didn't really work that well. Tried it, or leaning against it, leaning your legs against it, and then having a resistance band on the other side, so I guess facing this way. Leaning against it, and then trying to do some, one-legged leg curls with the resistance band tied that way and one end around my ankle. That didn't work as well as I was hoping either. I was hoping that would be kind of neat, but a way for us to do some extensions and curls, but it didn't happen. This weight tree is really nice. Probably we should just stick with 4 plates on the bottom instead of 5, because it's getting kind of close to the edge there. But these the Rogue bumpers are nice. We've been using them and dropping them, and everything's all good. So this is the Wingspan rack. I mean, it's mammoth, but you get 3 racks in one. And it's expensive. I don't know what people consider as expensive nowadays, but I mean, it was $3,000, I think. But in the end, I mean, the problem is you start adding a bunch of attachments and the price shoots way up. But if you got the room and you've got, you know, multiple people that's going to be working out with you, to be able to have a stationary thing and not buy 3 squat racks, but buy this bad boy, it does allow you to be modular with your kind of workout stations. So I can be doing legs one day, someone else can be doing chest, my brother can be doing chest, you know, someone else can be doing back. So we've got enough room for 3 people to work out. The hyper, we got the hyper, reverse hyper right here. Used it a couple times, still kind of getting used to it. It's new, it's a new feeling. It'd be cool if we could do, you know, have an attachment. This is another Rogue thing. So they have the foot attachment, and we bought it. I haven't really used it. Been using the straps. Actually, I like the straps better. It's a little easier to climb in. But man, what if there was a way to have, you know, a hole here and have a leg extension attachment? My camera's not showing. So here, and then have the rollers here, so you could just sit on the top and do leg extensions on this thing, because it's the same thing. You know, you've got the pivot point. You know, this comes up, so we might figure out somehow to do leg extensions on this, or leg curls would be cool, like some standing leg curls or something. So it's just an idea. It seems like the platform is right for it. It's just figuring out the thresholds to maybe where to drill and the clearances on where your feet would go and stuff like that. But it's pretty. That thing took as long to put together as the Rogue rack. That thing was a lot of bolts, a lot of pieces. But it's pretty neat. It's something my brother really wanted, so I'm glad we were able to get it. We're getting older. Doing deadlifts isn't always the easiest thing on our backs, so we definitely sticking with stuff like that, just because age and injuries over the years from lifting and stuff like that makes it hard. There's Bruce up there. He likes to just sit up there and look over everything. He's funny. Not afraid of heights at all. The only other things I could say, you know, about these Rogue dumbbells, I feel like you can't drop them really, really hard, or you're going to bend them. I've noticed. I feel like some of them are kind of already bending. So you got to be careful how well you drop them, how hard you drop them. We bought these, so I really wanted the Rogue dumbbell racks, but man, that thing was $750 for a 3-tier rack. And I bought these off Amazon, and because they were cheap, they're like $70. The one problem with these ones off of Amazon, if you guys try to buy them, is this little lip is so small right here that on the larger weights you can see it barely is holding those weights up. And so what happens is when you grab them and try to put them up, they just slip. Oh, that almost cracked my knuckles right there. And when you got a heavy weight, and they slip right off, and if someone's going to drop them, someone's going to crack their knuckles. So we're going to have someone. I'm not a welder. I do other stuff, but one thing I've never learned is welding. So we're going to have someone weld a taller lip along each shelf. That will help to hold the weights on so that they don't slip off so easy. This should have been probably, you know, another 1/2 inch to 3/4 inches in height, and that would make all the difference in the world. So just beware if you do order these little dumbbell racks. That lip is just not tall enough. It's just not. But they come all put together, which is cool. You didn't have to put them together. Man, I think that's about it in terms of what I think people would want to see. We do have a Titan. I bought that for my brother a while back. A Titan sled. Haven't really ever used it. I haven't. He has. But I've heard that they tear down easy. That they don't hold up very long. Especially if you put them on a rough surface. But we got nice smooth surfaces out here, so hopefully it'll work. But anyway, this is The Rogue Monster rack, it's the Wingspan rack, very nice. I'm going to do legs in here today. We're going to get a barn door mirror right here to slide along that metal so we can see ourselves squatting. But we're really happy with it. Man, it's so convenient to be able to go out in your garage, your shop, and lift weights and not have to drive to the gym and drive to town. The kids don't have to go sit in the kids center anymore. They can chill wherever they are. They've been coming down here and working out with this, which is really cool to have them at such a young age be getting, we're not loading them up. We're just trying to get them used to the movements and get their kind of coordination down. We obviously don't want to hurt our kids. But it's cool that they're interested and that they think it's cool. And if they don't want to come down, they can just hang up at the house and work on homework or play or do their music lessons and stuff like that we've got them in. So it's a big time saver to be able to come down right now early in the morning and just get this done and not have to worry about driving to the gym and going, okay, when's their kids' hours? When can we have someone watch the kids? What hours are they open? And doing the shuffle, you can just come get one in. And that's kind of what it's all about, and it makes it nice, and we're getting a lot of use out of it already. A lot of people ask, well, are you actually going to do it? If you buy it, you don't feel the obligation to go to the gym. Are you actually going to go? And man, we're down here every day. Got the Rogue bars. These are nice. Which I can't remember which side bars. We're about 2 different kinds. I can't really tell the difference between the two. One has a little more aggressive knurl than the other, but we don't do stuff where the whip's really going to matter a whole lot. We're not doing these crazy movements where the bar is going to be bending because you're moving it through space so fast. So it's not really those, and we don't do crazy heavy weights anymore because we're getting old as well. So that's it. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'll leave the comments open on this. I'm not a big fan of leaving comments open on YouTube because everybody's negative, and you can put something great on there and someone will see a problem with it, and I don't like that, but I know that people might have questions. So if you have a question, let me